It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Smooth and Savvy is joined by some of the hottest talent in the entertainment industry, from musicians to authors and all those in between. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Smooth and Savvy himself, Douglas Coleman.
Hey there, hey there, hey there, hey there. How are you? It's me, Douglas Coleman. Welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show. We have a music extravaganza for you today. Lots and lots of music, which is kind of how the show started, or why the show started, was to promote indie music, and we've got a lot of it to promote today. We've got two interviews. The first one is with TJ Leonard, who is a Swedish country artist living in Stockholm, and we've got two of his songs to play as well. Followed by, in the second half of the show, we've got Richard Lynch, who is an American country artist, and also two songs of his. Richard is currently on tour. When we did the interview, he was somewhere in the northern peninsula of Michigan, and he was going to a gig, so I hope that worked out well. Thank you, Richard, for taking the time to come on the show. Before we get to the interviews, though, I've got 4 songs from Music X-Ray submissions. These are all great songs. We've been getting lots of submissions on Music X-Ray, and I really want to thank everybody who has been sending in. Please keep them coming. I would say at least half of the music that I've been getting on Music X-Ray has been played on the show. There's just so many great indie artists out there. So, trying to clear some of the backlog. I hope you're a music fan, because this show is all about music. If you're not a music fan, I think what you should do is go out and get a puppy and bring the puppy home and play with the puppy and pet the puppy and do that until you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And once you start getting that warm and fuzzy feeling, then put on some music. And I think the puppy will stimulate that side of the brain that responds well to music. Then you will become a music fan. Because I think everybody should have music in their life. Music is so important to me and to many, many other people. Having said that, let's get to our Music X-Ray submissions. First up is Coffee in the Morning by Andrea Schmider, Schmider. Next one is Doin' Time by Ian Kelly, spelled E-O-I-N. I hope I'm pronouncing everyone's name right. If I'm not, my apologies. The next song is called Matthew McConaughey, I'm assuming after the actor, and it's by the Stalyns, S-T-A-Y-L-Y-N-S. Finally, we've got a song called Fire by Proxy Red. So, we're going to play those 4 songs straight through, and then we're going to go straight into the interviews. Get that puppy.
Wandering around, craving relief. after stars, sunlight after dark, light on a horizon, a fire in a coal, a place to call home. When we're too far gone, coffee in the morning, a fire in a coal, the sparkling of the stars, sunlight after dark, light on a horizon, a fire in a coal. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the jigger, just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
once in a while it feels like life ain't doing me right. Every once in a while it feels like I ain't doing it right. I ain't doing it right. Then I remember that every dog must have his day, every yin must have a yang, and everything's gonna be okay if I remember one thing. Like wine, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be out of sight. Like Matthew McConaughey, it's gonna be alright, alright. Every once in a while it feels like I'm on the wrong side of fate. Every once in a while it feels like life ain't going so great. It ain't going so great. And I remember that everyone gets 15 minutes and every day is new. So everyone's gotta get to getting here. It's all up to you. It's like wine, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be out of sight. Like Matthew McConaughey, it's gonna be alright, alright. Some days are worse than others, some people push you around. When you feel the world is against you, just grab a bongo and pound. Then remember that everything that goes around eventually comes around. So don't worry about the slides and the slings, no, don't you let them get you down. It's like wine, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be out of sight. Like Matthew McConaughey, it's gonna be alright, 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 alright.
Break off a piece of dead wood and add it to the stock. You've got some ego, but it's all good. I've always got your back. Give me some space to breathe now. I'll let you spread your wings. This house you built is burning down. Grab all your valuable things. Blaze and breathe and bring the walls down. Spreading fast and burning free. Open all the doors and get me out now. 'Cause now you're burning me. Hot air you breathe just don't sit. It's a battle line, sirens ring. You did it, nobody catches quick. Man, it's a terrible thing. Blaze and breathe and bring the walls down. Spreading fast and burning free.
Okay, please welcome TJ Leonard. Hi, TJ. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. You?
Oh, doing very well. You're in Sweden, right?
Yeah, I'm in Sweden right now in Stockholm.
Now, in the wintertime there, do you have like no sun, or does the sun just for a couple of hours?
In summertime, up north in Sweden, the sun doesn't set at all. It's you have daylight almost the entire for 24 hours. So, but here in Stockholm, it's we have 1-2 hours of darkness in the middle of the night right now. But then it's in August, it's about 5 hours, and then and then it's completely dark, fall and winter.
So in the winter you have no sun.
This is the happy part of the year.
The happy part. Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would. Just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into music.
I started out when I was a kid. I come from a family where most of us are practicing music in some way. So I started out with playing with my grandpa on my mother's side. He used to play in a band in the 40s and 50s and played those old jazz tunes and Swedish folk music and stuff like that. And he taught me those songs. And he was, from the beginning, he was singing and playing the mandolin, and I was playing the guitar. Yeah, I tried to follow him as good as I could. But later on, when he got older, I started to sing instead. And this was not on stage. This was only at their house. So we continued to do that until he passed a couple of years ago. So it was a fun time. And then I started I played many different genres: jazz, soul, R&B, hard rock, blues. And I moved here to Stockholm in '95. And studied music for 2 years, and after that I started to write songs for other artists. Actually quit singing for a while, and then after that I stopped with any kind of music and try to focus on my regular job in that career. And but that lasted for 1.5 years or something. Then I just had to go back to writing on music and playing again. So it was only half me. And then how I got into country music was that I produced a lot of music, and everything was computer programmed. All the pop that I wrote was all computer, no real instruments. And I got tired of that, and I wanted to have more of an organic sound again, And at that time, that was I guess it was in '02 or something, that Keith Urban released Somebody Like You. And I heard that from the first time I heard it. That banjo intro really caught me, and I was thinking I could do that. I want to do that. And so I as an experiment, I started to listen only to country music, both new and old, as an experiment to see how my musical language would change. And it did change after a while. And my lyrics, I've always tried to have lyrics that contain something, not just those cheesy love songs. And that really my lyrics fit in the country style. So I was only half there. I was half there already, and then I continued to develop my lyrics into what it is today. I write quite simple and straightforward lyrics that people can understand and relate to. I hope. Some say they can, so I hope that's true.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say about getting sick of all computer-generated music and you wanted to go back to something that was more, you said organic. I was going to say human. Because this is one of my big rants on my show when I have musicians on, is that I really don't like that style of music. It's okay for what it is, but it doesn't belong on the same shelf as real music. And unfortunately, these days, everything is online, all in the same place. And I just don't think it's fair for an artist that spends hours and hours and hours putting together a song, performance-based song, and somebody else can knock up a tune on the computer in 10 minutes and yet they're considered the same thing. That to me is just wrong. And unfortunately, that's sort of the climate that we have these days. So I'm very happy to hear you say that you went back to real music, because I think that's where, well, it's where the soul is. You know, computers are soulless things. They're machines. And I don't think that they can ever replace a human playing an instrument, you know?
Yeah. Of course, I use computers for recording, but just instead of a tape recorder. So, and that's how we get the good sound today. But everything is acoustic instruments and real drums and stuff like that. So.
Well, right. Computers are a great tool for editing, for mixing, for mastering. They're fine. You know, Pro Tools is a great software. What I'm talking about is the actual creation of the music.
Yeah, I know. I understood.
Yeah. Well, let's get to one of your songs. We've got two of them here. We've got Remember Those Times and The River. Which one would you like to play first?
Well, doesn't matter to me. Start with Remember Those Times. That is the River is the last single, and Remember Those Times is the single before that. So start with Remember Those Times.
Okay. You want to tell us any story about that?
Well, the idea for the lyrics came up when me and my wife were sitting on the sofa, and we were, Facebooking and tweeting, and I started to get hungry. So I messaged her through Facebook and after, isn't it time for us to make some dinner? And she answered back, and then we were only 2 feet from each other, so it was kind of stupid thing. So I developed that thought, and internet today, people can they meet through internet.
Oh, sure.
Through, Match.com and stuff like that. But internet can also separate us from each other. So
Very
I
true.
was thinking, I was sitting there, and we had a sort of a wall of air bricks between us. So I created this song or the lyrics from that thought, and I, expand a little bit on it. So
Okay.
it's not true story, just but that is the idea that I had from the beginning, and I build it up from there.
All right. Well, this is Remember Those Times by T.J. Leonard.
We're sitting here, both you and I, but there are no words spoken. The eyes fixed on the iPads, the silence is still unbroken. It's like a transparent wall between us that blocks everything that we used to feel. Bricks made of air should be easy to tear down, but it seems to me they are stronger than steel. The heat that we used to have could easily burn down the wall. We just have to look around, see what's going on, listen to that wake-up call. What seems to be impossible now, we can turn to a new tomorrow. Close your eyes and remember those times. I'd pay more than a penny to know what you are thinking. And I understand something's wrong because of the whiskey you're drinking. And I don't know why we got this quiet, but something Something's in desperate need to be healed. Bricks made of air should be easy to tear down, but it seems to me they are stronger than steel. The heat that we used to have could easily burn down the wall. We just have to look around, see what's going on, listen to that wake-up call. What seems to be impossible now, we can turn to a new tomorrow. Close your eyes and remember. I recall that day in the fall when we fooled around, both you and I rolled around in the leaves, and I asked you to marry me. You started to cry. The heat that we used to have could easily burn down the wall. We just have to look around, see what's going on, listen to that wake-up call. What seems to be impossible now, we can turn to a new tomorrow. Close your eyes and remember those times. Close your eyes and remember those times.
Wow, very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
I don't listen to the music before the show, at least not when Michael Stover sends them to me, because I know they're going to be good. If I get a cold submission from somebody I don't know, then yes, I will listen to it before I air it, if I air it. But with him, you know, everything that comes from him is always good. So that was amazing. I really like that lyric too, the bricks made of air. It's so true, what you were saying about two people on iPhones sitting 2 feet away from each other texting. It's what we've become in this society, it seems. Nobody really talks to each other anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is American country music real popular in Sweden?
The older one, also the more true country, you know, Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and all those guys, that is very popular here with the older audience. The new country or more contemporary country is getting stronger and stronger here. That also leads people into listening to the old country, of course. The same as me, I started to listen with Keith Urban, as I said, and then I got into more true country listener. So every time Brad Paisley comes here, it's you know, packed with people. So he's very popular here, and Toby Keith has been here a couple of times, and same there, packed. A couple of other bands was here, not that much audience those times, but we're getting there. So hopefully in a couple of years it will be, we have a bigger audience there, so even us smaller bands or acts can perform as much as we want.
With American audiences, if you said Sweden, you know, they would think of ABBA if they were my age. And anything more current is Swedish. I guess what I'm trying to say is Swedish pop music similar to American pop in the sense like it's very plastic, might be a good word to use.
We have so many different genres, or if you take pop music, you can divide that into different genres. So a lot of the music you hear on Billboard with those major artists are made by Swedes. You know, Max Martin and Shellback and all those guys. They made a lot of that music, so that sounds like that. And we have pop music that is bands that they have electric guitars, acoustic drums. So it's not that plastic.
I guess it's the definition of pop. You're right. There's more than one category.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of pop music in America now, I think of something Gene Simmons of Kiss said, that he says it's just tits and a karaoke machine on stage, lip syncing.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's about it. But if you said pop in the 70s, it would have been Fleetwood Mac. So it's hard to really define it, I guess. We got to get to your other song because we're quickly running out of time. Tell us about The River, please.
The River, this is a song, I wanted to write a song about my childhood or my youth. And I was thinking of all the guys I was growing up with. I'm from a small village. It's about 6,000 people living there, and through that village is a river. It runs a river through the village, like it's like a vein or an artery. And every year, people from all over the world come there to try to catch those big salmons and big sea trouts that we have there. So we started out when we was 11, 12, something like that, to fish in that river, learning from the older guys. And so we grew up there, and we spent a lot of time there after school, after the homework was done, and we just took our bikes and rode down to that river. And we were fishing in the summertime when the waters was too hot to fish. We took our air mattresses and just were running through the stream. I don't know the word for it when the water flows very swiftly.
Rapids.
Rapids. Yeah. So that was really funny. Real fun in the summertime doing that. And we were building rafts and stuff like that, having bonfires in the evenings. And when we got a little bit older, of course, we drank beer.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that is a sort of a thank you song to all my old friends. A lot of them still lives there and still fish that river. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is The River by T.J. Leonard.
I believe that old friendship hardly never dies. It'll stay the same no matter how fast the time flies. The roots from our youth grows deeper than many other things. Those old memories from our teens means everything. We grew up by the river. That's where we learned how to catch those trouts and live in that outdoor life. The river. That's where we learned everything about kissing girls and having fun, drinking beer late at night. When the flames from the bonfire reach towards the sky, I want to thank you guys for old times. We were fishing and rafting, drifting, just following the stream. Jumping from the bridge, swept away by the water around the bend. Like the water, the time runs by, and we were scattered to the wind. But the faces of those who were close will stay with me till the end. We grew up by the river. That's where we learned how to catch those trouts and live in that outdoor life. The river. That's where we learned everything about kissing girls and having fun, drinking beer late at night. When the flames from the bonfire reach towards the sky, I want to thank you guys for old times. up by the river. That's where we'll learn how to catch those trouts and live in that outdoor life. The river. That's where we'll learn everything about kissing girls and having fun, drinking beer late at night. When the flames from the bonfire reach towards the sky, I want to thank you guys for old times. I want to thank you guys for old times.
Yeah, very nice. I love the banjo in that. I'm a big fan of the banjo. Are you playing that, or who's playing that?
Banjo. It's a friend of mine. His name is Nick Vedén.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love it.
So
Yeah, it's great.
it's all Swedish musicians
Playing American country music. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. TJ, we are completely out of time. In fact, we have run over. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you have a website?
I have one. It's linked right now to my Facebook page, though, because I didn't like the looks of it. So I have to do a new one. So at the moment, it's linked to my Facebook. So, but it's www.tjleonardcountry.com.
tjleonardcountry.com. Okay. And then that will bring up your Facebook page?
Yeah. And Twitter is TJL Country.
TJ, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great.
You're listening to Mr. Smooth and Savvy right here on The Douglas Coleman Show. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
In-house production and recording in Louisiana Publishing Company is now offering a special for podcasters on their CD Pro Radio network. For just $20 a month, CD Pro Radio will broadcast your podcast twice a week on their network. This is a great and inexpensive opportunity for podcasters to gain some exposure for their show without having to spend a lot of money. Please check them out at cdproradio.com. That's cdproradio.com.
Go listen, download, and subscribe to The Douglas Coleman Show. It's available at the website douglascolemanmusic.com/DCS. Also on iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. The Douglas Coleman Show is an internationally syndicated talk and music show that features fascinating and sometimes famous guests from all aspects of the entertainment industry. The topics can range from light and fluffy to sober and serious. Our focus is on music artists, but we also feature producers, authors, directors, and even promoters. The Douglas Coleman Show. Sometimes chat, sometimes music, always entertaining. Again, it's available today at the website douglascolemanmusic.com/DCS. You can also connect with them on Facebook at Douglas Coleman Show 1, follow on Twitter at Douglas Coleman 3, and you can even find them on TuneIn Radio. Again, that's the Douglas Coleman Show at the website douglascolemanmusic.com/DCS, iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube, and more. Go listen, download, subscribe, and share with your social networks today.
And now,
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
again,
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Okay, please welcome Richard Lynch. Hello, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. You are a country music artist, and from the looks of your bio, you've been around for a while. You've been playing for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your background with music and how you got started.
Well, I'm a second generation. By that I mean my dad was a well-established, great country entertainer. Played for many, many years, and I was born into that household in an old farmhouse, and I grew up listening to great country traditional music. And at a young age, I knew that's something that I like to do. I love to do. My dad gracefully asked me to be on his stage when I was 8 years old, and I got to go on stage and sing an old song with him, and I was bit by the country music bug at an early age. So something that I knew I wanted to do.
So now country music has kind of changed in some respects over the years. what basically defines traditional country versus new country?
Well, country music to me is always going to be traditional. I think the country name has been sabotaged, but true country music is about a steel guitar, about a fiddle, about three-part harmony, has lyrics of song that makes sense. A real diverse industry, the country music is. But if you think traditional country music, you got to think along the terms of people like Keith Whitley and George Jones and Merle Haggard and on and on and on. It's a respect for traditional country values, and I think there's a whole lot less of that today as far as the new country goes. Not to mention, but there's a lot of folks out there that have those same values and are really wanting to keep that country music going. So we try to stay towards real sincerity and great traditional sounding country music.
Okay, well, since we're talking just about music, why don't we play one of your songs and give people an idea of what exactly you do? I've got your album here called A Better Place. So why don't you pick one of them that you think would be a good one to start with?
Well, if they want to hear about good, diverse, traditional country music, here's a honky-tonkin', hard-driving country song called She's Got Me Drinking Again.
Okay, let's play this one. This is She's Got Me Drinking Again by Richard Lynch.
My world turned gray when she went away. Said she found somebody new. I fell apart with an aching heart. Didn't know what to do. So I got dressed up and jumped in my truck. Faked me a big old grin. Called my buddy Bill. Said there's no time to kill. She got me drinking again. Back on the bottle, back on the stool, telling dirty jokes, laughing like a fool, having lots of fun just being me. So here's a toast to what he used to be. Yeah, thanks to her I'm back out hanging out with my friends. She got me drinking again. So we paid our tab and called in a cab and went back to your house. Then we started to think as you poured us some drinks. You said, boys, I got it figured out. I met her off like this and I don't really miss what I thought I had before she skipped. So I picked up the phone and I heard her moan when I said, you got me drinking again. Back on the bottle, back on the stool, telling dirty jokes, laughing like a fool, having lots of fun just being me. So here's a toast to what he used to be. Yeah, thanks to her I'm back out hanging out with my friends. She got me drinking again. Telling dirty jokes, acting like a fool, having lots of fun just being me. So here's a toast to what used to be. Yeah, thanks to her I'm back out hanging out with my friends. Yeah, thanks to her I'm back out hanging out with my friends. She got me drinking again. She got me drinking again.
Yeah, well, that one will definitely wake you up in the morning. Yeah, that's a great song. Now, you're on tour right now?
Oh, we are. We're en route to a show in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan right now. So we're looking forward to do a couple of big shows up there this weekend.
Well, I know you're very busy, and you've been touring, I guess, for a lot of this summer, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We've been all over the place, from Texas to Minnesota, Tennessee, Iowa, on and on and on. And like I say, we've been playing. I come from a little old town called Waynesville, Ohio, and that's where our farm is. And we play quite a bit around the Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky area. and we've been very fortunate enough to be out on the road and doing different things around the country with other artists, and just loving this great country music we're doing.
How do you like being on the road?
Well, I do enjoy it. You know, we can get out here and meet people and meet other artists that play this sound, and you know, there's nothing better for me to, you know, stick my hand out there and shake somebody's hand or hug their neck and get to know these people that pay to come see our shows and do different things around the country. It's an honor for me to do this.
Do you have a big tour bus?
Well, it's not a big tour bus. We have a Sprinter, and it sleeps 7, and then we pull the trailer behind that. I mean, it's a bus to us, but it's not like a big Prevost, you know. It's kind of economical. We enjoy working with that. It kind of keeps all the band members together, and you know, it's just something that we've taken that, and it's just become a tool. It's something that we can utilize our assets and keep the expense down, I guess you might say.
So how many in your band?
There's me and 4 other musicians, and then I've been using a different piano player from time to time. So depending on where we're at, you'll see as many as a 5-piece band with myself for a total of 6.
And then you've got like all your equipment and stuff in a trailer behind you?
Yeah, we pull the PA system and pull the trailer with the PA system and all the microphones and all the amplifiers and everybody's instruments. And you know, when we're on the road, we try to look out for a worst case scenario. So we'll bring an additional bass guitar and an additional acoustic guitar. And so, you know, try to be as efficient as possible.
Well, one thing that's interesting is with all of the advances in technology and the internet and how it's changed the climate of the music industry, touring is still the same.
Yeah,
Hitting
exactly. It
yeah,
is. Yes, it is.
Hitting the road is hitting the road. That hasn't changed at all.
You know, when we're out here on the road and we experience different things, it's still a lot of fun for me and the guys. My wife, Miss Donna, she tags along with us and she calls the shots. It's called the Richard Lynch Band, but Miss Donna, my wife's the boss. So the guys will tell you that.
You mentioned something about a farm, and on your bio it says that you're a designer of amazing barns, designer and builder of barns.
Well, you know, all my life I've been a hard-working, self-employed entrepreneur. So from farming to building to playing music, it's always been something that's paid the bills. Fortunately, the music right now has got me to where I'm not doing much of anything else right now. But yeah, I've always been farming and building. But the last 2 couple of albums has put me in a position to where basically the music thing is just about all I do.
So tell me about some of these barns that you've designed.
Well, I have restored a lot of old antique barns, you know, from back in the 1800s where they were all hand-hewed big barns, and I've managed to restore a lot of them. I grew up on an old farm that had, you know, the old farms and the old structures that was constantly needing attention. And my dad was an incredible builder, and he could do a little bit of anything. And so I learned a lot, you know, from my dad out of necessity. And then as I got older and, you know, my occupation was toward building and different things, I ventured out to where I did all that on my own. And the next thing you know, somebody's hiring me to build a barn for them. And I designed a lot of barns. As a matter of fact, we have a big barn on our farm where we have live country music concerts 3 or 4 times a year. We got a big concert coming at our farm coming up in September 10th, with Buddy Jewell and myself. Buddy had some big songs back in the early part of 2000. So my occupations has helped me with my other occupations, you might say.
What kind of things were you farming? I mean, was this like a big commercial farm?
Well, no, we own 32 acres and we grow a lot of hay. We raise that orchard and alfalfa hay, and my wife loves her donkeys, and I've got a couple horses, quarter horses, and a little pony out there. So we got, you know, the farming way of life, the country way of life. You know, we're pretty sincere as far as the lifestyle. You know, we love country music and we love the country way of life.
All right. Well, with that, let's get to another song. Which one do you want to play now?
Well, you know, I'm pretty fond of this song. I'm going to have you to play. We've had a 16-week run at #1 on the Roots Independent Music Chart Currently we're at number one, and we're at 16 weeks in a row at number one with this particular song. And this goes to tell you, and goes to show you that people still love and want to hear traditional sounding music. It's called A Better Place.
A Better Place. All right. And that's the title of the album as well, right?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay, this is Richard Lynch and A Better Place.
I was driving, it was raining, on my way to bring her roses. When I got there, she wasn't there alone. Oh, it tore my world to pieces to know we'd never be together. So I said goodbye and headed off down the road. I couldn't see for the tears had rained. I heard the crash and I felt the pain, and my life was over just like that. But I'm in a better place, no more tears on my face. Up here above the clouds, I can see clearly now. She was my reason for living, and after all the love I'd given, I never dreamed I'd die with this heartache. Oh, but I'm in a better place. Now she's standing there crying like she's dying to hold me. Too bad she waited too late. I spent most of my life just trying to make her love me. I can't believe what it took to finally make her look my way. The preacher man sends up a prayer, the organ music fills the air, and a choir sings as they carry me away. But I'm in a better place, no more tears on my face. Up here above the clouds, I can see clearly now. She was my reason for living, and after all the love I'd given, I never dreamed I'd die with this heartache. Oh, but I'm in a better place. After all the love I'd given, I never dreamed I'd die with this heartache. Oh, but I'm in a better place.
Yeah, that one was real nice. I like that. Very pretty song.
Well, thank you, Doug. We were all proud of that one.
So where are you going? You're going to Michigan now. Do you want to mention the venue that you're going to be at and when? And
Well, we're doing a place up in Gould City, Michigan. That's just way up there in the Upper Peninsula. A gentleman by the name of Joe Blanchard has an annual event, and we'll play that in the town of Gould City, Michigan. And what they do is they raise a bunch of money for a lot of folks up here for scholarships and different things like that. So it's an incredible event. And a lot of folks from all over Michigan, actually a lot of folks from all over the country will come to this. And so it's something that we really love doing every year.
Oh, super. How big of a place is it? How big of a venue?
Oh, he'll have anywhere from 400 to 600 people there, and it's right outside. We do an outside event. He got a beautiful log home, and we set up on the porch and play out to the folks, and they'll have a big fish fry and a hog roast, and I mean, it's absolutely a blast to do this every year.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. Richard, we are out of time for this interview, unfortunately, but I want to thank you very much for coming on the show and for allowing us to play your music. And
well, thank you, Doug.
Best of luck. I know you're busy, so good luck with all your tours.
Well, thank you, sir, and I want to thank all your listeners, and if you want to check us out, go to richardlynchband.com, and we'd love to see you folks out here on the road somewhere.
Okay, richardlynchband.com. Okay, thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Doug. Bye-bye.
Well, that's about all the time we've got for the show today. I want to thank my special guests, TJ Leonard and Richard Lynch. And thank you to Andrea Schmider, Ian Kelly, the Stalins, and Proxy Red. This is Douglas Coleman saying goodbye.